guys? I'm really happy you guys are watching and tuning in because I'm going to talk about our 3-day mini weekend getaway to Tokyo for the Cherry Blossom Festival. So this has taken me so long, but I finally have had the time to upload all of my videos and photos from Japan and get around to recording this video. So I apologize for the long delay. I've been so busy this past month. I'm glad that you're still subscribed and I'm glad that you're still watching. It's been on my bucket list for years and I told myself that this is the year to go. I didn't want to keep postponing it and I just booked the Airbnb a month in advance. Hanami, which is the Japanese term for the Cherry Blossom Festival, is such a popular tourist attraction. People plan this a year in advance. The viewing for the cherry blossoms are only during a certain window period. If you don't go during that specific time period, it may be too late to see the cherry blossoms actually in their full bloom. There's a website where you can actually keep track of the blooming period, so you know which dates certain cities are actually going to experience full bloom. And since American flies direct to Tokyo, we decided to just stick with Tokyo. Sticking to one city for those 3 days was just the perfect choice. Let me tell you, we almost did not get on. We were second and third on the standby list and the last people on the standby list to get on. Nobody else got on. We were so grateful. We wanted to have 3 full days, so we left Thursday night to get there Friday in the afternoon. So if you don't know this already, you lose a day traveling to Japan from the US. We actually got to Tokyo Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. We had all Friday night, all of Saturday, all of Sunday, and then the first half of Monday to just do some exploring in Tokyo. And it was incredible. Incredibly overwhelming, but so incredible. Let me talk about day one. We finally land in Tokyo at 2 p.m. and literally culture shock right away. The first thing I experienced was the infamous heated toilets. Wow. I wanted to go home with a heated toilet, and as soon as we did get home, Darren was ready to buy a heated toilet. So we still don't have one, still on our bucket list. Along with the heated toilet, what I didn't know is that when you're doing your business on the toilet, music starts, or rainwater, depending on the business that you're actually doing. And it completely shocked me. But I kind of like it. So our first night there, we actually got into Haneda Airport, and our Airbnb was a 10 or 15 minute train ride from Haneda Airport. So it was very beneficial for us in that sense, since we were just gonna be there for a short amount of time. We looked into so many different places to stay for those 3 days. As I mentioned before, the Cherry Blossom Festival is something that's booked and planned months ahead of time. And us being standby passengers, we never really book things ahead of time. This is the one and only time I really booked something a month in advance. To be honest, I would prefer not doing it again. If we hadn't gotten on that first flight, we would have had to show up a day later. We would have lost $100 because our Airbnb essentially came out to be $100 per night, which is not bad for that specific holiday or festival weekend. Any other time in Tokyo, things are a lot more cheaper. So that night we ended up going to Shidorigafuchi Park. And I'm saying it slow because I've tried practicing this 1,000 times. It's a very long word and I mess it up and butcher it, so I don't want to be offensive. This park is super popular for the cherry blossoms to be lit up at night. So a lot of people like to go to this park at night and walk through the path along the lake. And it's so beautiful because it's like a fairy tale. The cherry blossom branches are hovering over your head. It's twinkling. And if you look to the lake, there are people on rowboats and you see the petals floating. It's gorgeous, romantic, and it's also free. So definitely something to add onto your list if you plan on going. And it doesn't take long. You could spend hours walking or 30 minutes walking. We probably did it for an hour and then we decided to go get food because we were starving. Right around that park, we walked into this open plaza area where they have street food. So a lot of these vendors have their tents set up and people are just walking around drinking sake and getting street food, which is also super cheap. This entire weekend, we basically just ate street food. Day 2 was crazy. We walked 10 miles just so that we can see enough of Tokyo. Because of jet lag, we were able to wake up like at 6 a.m. that entire weekend, made the most of each day. So we got to Ueno Park at 9 a.m. A lot of people suggest that if you're there for Hanami, Ueno Park is one of the famous parks to go to, but it's also the most crowded park. People set up their spots at 9 a.m. and they're ready. They are there all day. These people take Hanami seriously. They make tables and seats out of cardboard boxes. A lot of the people bring tarps. You could get there at a dollar store in Japan. Everyone sits there and just like watches the cherry blossoms while they're eating and drinking. And a lot of them are in their traditional kimono garments. It's really cute to watch. So if you're gonna go for the first time and you're watching this video, I hope I'm prepping you. Just like all the locals, that's exactly what they do. Get there early, reserve your spot. It was our first time there, so we just walked a lot around the park and ate a lot of the good street food. Go to Asakusa district. Sensoji Temple is there, and that's where we walked around, and there's so many beautiful little shops and you feel like you're in feudal era Japan. And the Meiji Shrine is also worth seeing. It's quiet, it's inside a park and you walk. It closes early, so make sure that you do give yourself enough time or plan around your itinerary so that you do that in the middle of the day, because after sunset, they close. Akihabara district is definitely a must-see. It is loud, it is crazy with the sensory overload. If you love anything that has to do with the gaming culture and the anime culture, that is like nerd haven. I love anime, I love gaming, like Final Fantasy and RPGs, Sony, all of that stuff, but it is definitely crowded there. It takes a lot of energy out of you, and there are so many stores that you can't even keep track of. And there's a lot of these cute little like vending machines that you put some like 10 yen in and you get these little capsule balls and they give you cute little toys or trinkets. I came home with a bunch of little cat hats, and you'll see my cat's really annoyed and angry. I could probably have spent so much money just playing with those little capsule machines. If you're also into like things that are above PG-13 ratings, Akihabara is known for having those stores. If you're curious to see what I'm talking about, definitely visit those stores. They have 7 floors of rated X things there to bring as souvenirs for yourself or for friends. I actually did not eat sushi like I expected to eat sushi. That weekend we were just really in the mood to eat like traditional Japanese ramen and street food. They have a bunch of different ramen restaurants all over the place, but the one we specifically went to, you order through a vending machine. It looks like a vending machine, and you kind of just pick 3 different items. It's a very limited menu, which is even better because you don't want to be overwhelmed. And it's a set price, so each item is the same price, and you pay with cash. Always remember, it's always cash, and you get a ticket. And then you go to the table and you give the waitress or the ramen chef the ticket you ordered, and you kind of just sit there and wait for your ramen to come to you. And of course, how can we not try and do Shibuya crossing? It was really cool, and right around Shibuya crossing, if you love dogs, then you definitely have to visit the Hachiko memorial statue. If you don't know who Hachiko is, he was a cute, adorable Japanese dog that was known to be very loyal to his owner and waited at the station for him every day when he got out of work. It's a sad story, I don't want to ruin it, but there is a movie on Netflix based on Hachiko starring Richard Gere, so check that out and visit the Hachiko memorial statue. You have to go to an onsen, which is a basic Japanese traditional bathhouse. In order to enter an onsen, you have to make sure that you follow their rules, which isn't strict or anything at all because it is so important to their cultural daily life. They like to keep things very traditional. Unfortunately, with onsens, you cannot have any tattoos. You also have to be separated, so it's not co-ed. Men and women have their own separate entrances and their own separate bathhouses. It's still a nice relaxing time. You feel so much zen being there. You can spend an entire day at an onsen and feel like you weren't even there long enough. When you enter the onsen, they make you take off your shoes and you put your shoes in a little locker along with your personal bags and everything like that. And then they give you a bag with these pajamas that you could wear in the locker room or around the property, but you cannot wear your clothes. And you have to take off those little pajama garments once you enter the actual bathhouses. If you're not able to enter an onsen, they have the other option that is called a sento. So a sento, there you can enter with a bathing suit. You don't have to be naked. And you also can have tattoos. So you don't have to worry about offending anybody. They will allow you in there. The only difference between these two is that in an onsen, you actually get to rinse off and bathe in Mount Fuji spring water. Me, I prefer the onsen. It's very quiet and tranquil. I felt a lot of zen, and after walking 10 miles the day before, my spine and muscles were killing me. On our last day, we ended up going to Nakameguro River. It is a gorgeous river. It stretches out for 8 blocks, maybe even more. And it's like a canal. People walk on both sides of the river, and you can see people kayaking along the river and the cherry blossom branches just wilting over. And it's a gorgeous walk. Nakameguro is a really nice little district. It's quiet. It has a lot of cute little restaurants, and during Hanami weekend, a lot of vendors have their food stalls there, so it gets pretty crowded. So we actually ended up going there 3 hours before our flight left. It was a nice way to end our weekend. We got so many beautiful photos, and we actually had cherry blossom flavored Sapporo beer. It had a strawberry in it, super tasty. Make sure you go to Nakameguro. It's not something that's very advertised, so hopefully you add that to your list. Getting around Tokyo is so simple, it's very easy and super efficient. It's like if you're from New York City, it is so similar to the New York City subway line. If anything, reading it might be even easier or just as similar. They have the Tokyo Metro line that takes you around the city center, and if you buy day passes, it comes out to be cheap. Or they have the Japan Rail, but the Japan Rail only goes in a circle, and it's more kind of like an express system, so the stops are more limited. I would personally recommend getting the Tokyo Metro line pass because it takes you to all the different districts, and it's actually more cheaper because you don't have to pay so much to transfer over, as long as the lines are included. If you are a Japanese visitor, a tourist, you can buy the Metro line passes at the airport. It comes out to be cheaper. Once you are actually in the city and you don't have those passes, they charge you every time you need to exit and enter again, as well as they only accept cash. it'll be hard for you to find a booth that accepts credit card payments. So just one thing to remember, that when you do go to Japan, a lot of it is cash only. And you would think because you're going to Tokyo, it's a big city and it's a business city, so you would think that a lot of the places, you know, credit cards are something you could have in handy, but it's really not that credit card friendly. A lot of the small local businesses or even restaurants accept cash only, so please remember to have cash. Tokyo has the Digital Arts Museum, and unfortunately we couldn't get to it because we had to buy those tickets in advance, and it sucks because we thought we could go there the day of and just buy tickets. You can show up there the day of, but if they run out of tickets, you're kind of out of luck. So they recommend you buying tickets ahead of time. We didn't because we were specifically there for Hanami, and we didn't know how our time frame was going to be. I highly recommend you checking that out so I can live vicariously through you and buying those tickets in advance, because this museum looks incredible. Every time I see photos of it, I hate myself for not have bought in those tickets. If there's one museum you're gonna go to that one. I really hope you enjoyed my video. I'm sorry that I couldn't provide more information on the 3 days that I was there. Once again, we were only there for really Hanami specifically. But if this is your first time going to Tokyo and you need some tips and advice, or just to see what it looked like, I'm glad you checked out this video. Hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. You can find me on Instagram at Wonderfully Exposed. And check out my other videos. I'll be posting more. I have so many videos to upload because I've been busy. So stick around, and I really do hope you enjoyed this video of our 3 days in Tokyo witnessing the Cherry Blossom Festival.